Hi, so my name's Joe Betts-LaCroix, and again, much thanks to SciFu. I've been on a long journey, originally as a scientist at Harvard and MIT and Caltech, and then went off the rails into entrepreneurship for 25 years, and partially due to SciFu, I'm now back doing a pure science venture, and it feels really, really good. Along this journey, I've been interested in how aging works, and it turns out to be a lot more intellectually interesting than just wear and tear. The one particularly fascinating thing is that you can take some 30-year-old cells and through a beautiful miracle between two of those people, you can produce zero-age cells. And how does that work? What happened to the aging of those cells? Turns out it has to do with epigenetics substantially. And so just quickly, for those of you who don't know, and this is similar to David's talk earlier, we have pluripotent stem cells in the embryo that could be any cell. And then during development, they slowly differentiate into more and more specialized cells until you have an adult where the cells are essentially stuck in their cell fate of skin, arteries, livers, brains, etc. That's called differentiation during development. So just terminology going down that direction is called differentiation. Coming back up is called reprogramming. And the state information for determining where a cell is in this range of different fates is called epigenetics, which I'm sure you've heard of. And the primary one I'm going to focus on for that is DNA methylation. There's about 20 million sites that can hold 1 bit of information each. So it's about the size of a big photo from your mobile phone. And the going that reverse direction does have some natural ways for it to happen. The main one I've already mentioned is gametogenesis and early embryogenesis, that is making babies. However, also the formation of strong memories, interestingly, is also reprogrammed cells, and also healing and regeneration. If you cut off your fingertip, then it needs to know which new cells to make. They have to regenerate, they have to de-differentiate a bit to do that, and sadly, cancer formation. So then in 2006, this guy Yamanaka and his group figured out an artificial way of taking an adult cell and turning it back into an embryonic stem cell. And that changed the world. Now you can make embryonic stem cells anytime you want. They don't have to come from abortions, basically, and using these transcription factors, OSKM. So that created the field of regenerative medicine, where you can start with an adult cell, reprogram it with Yamanaka factors, and then redifferentiate it into the cell type of interest for whatever project you're involved in. The interesting thing about this, from my perspective, is that that does indeed reset the biological age of those cells. How does this work? So you can measure, it turns out, the biological age of the cell by measuring those epigenetic methylation sites, beautiful correlations with age. So how can we actually use this to cure diseases, which is my fundamental interest? And it turns out that you can partially reprogram cells and then stop, and they will bounce back into their original adult state, and therefore the organism can keep functioning normally. But that does indeed reset the age of these cells partially. And there are a bunch of diseases that are correlated with aging. It's a little bit dangerous because if you go too far, they can end up turning into multiple different cell types once they bounce back, which could destroy tissues and be very toxic. The effects so far in mice, 3 different labs have done these partial reprogramming experiments in mice, and they have restored memory of old mice, they've extended lifespan, they've cured blindness in mice. I have a bunch of money to work on this project, and I'm looking to hire scientists who are excited about trying to understand how this works. So we have over a decade of funding, and we're looking to hire several cellular reprogramming scientists. So if you know any who would also be intrigued by this whole set of problems, please send them my way, joe@retro.bio. Thank you.